baik tu dia jadi mereka tahu रेडियो फिजी बहुत रेडियो फिजी रोज सुनता हूँ
रेडियो फीजी 2 देश की धड़कन.
In the news tonight, TC Herald heading our way. One more tests positive for COVID-19. And people continue to disappoint authorities.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Edwin Nai.
Good evening. A cyclone warning is now in force for Kandavu and Onoilau as tropical cyclone Herald heads our way. Fiji will start feeling the brunt of the cyclone from early tomorrow. For more, we now join Felipe Naikaso, who is live in Nandi. Felipe, what can we expect in the next few hours?
Well, led Fijians would have noticed the change in weather as more rain and stronger winds is expected to pick up from later tonight into tomorrow. The Fiji Met Office says that TC Herald is expected to be located approximately 350 kilometers east of Nandi, or about 450 kilometers northwest of Kandavu at midnight tonight. The weather guys say that if it continues to move in that direction, it is expected to just pass towards the south of Kandavu from tomorrow. So the adverse weather that is associated with TC Herald is expected to be felt from tomorrow morning and will extend right into Thursday morning. It is also anticipated that by 3 p.m. tomorrow, the system is expected to be very close to the Fiji group, but it is anticipated that it will not make landfall. Currently, the system is a Cat 4 with sustained winds of 185 kilometers per hour and momentary gusts of 260 kilometers per hour. So the message basically here is to please prepare accordingly. Take every necessary step to ensure that your homes and properties are well secured. Ensure that your compounds are cleared of all debris that could harm individuals and damage properties in the event of strong winds. So for those of you who also live in low-lying areas, please move to higher grounds if it's the case. And for those of you who will need to move into evacuation centers, please call the relevant authorities as soon as possible. Edwin.
Thank you, Felipe. Fijians at risk from TC Herald have been advised to move to safety while there's still time. Director, National Disaster Management Office, Vasiti Soko, says people must be mindful of the lockdown and nationwide curfew. As TC Herald approaches the Fiji group, Soko says people should not wait until the last minute to evacuate.
Move before it gets dark, move before the curfew kicks in. But if you're in a situation where you need to move during curfew hours, please do let us know. Also move if you need to move. We will alert the respective RFMF as well as the police.
Fiji's 15th case of COVID-19 has been confirmed. Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama has confirmed that the patient is linked to the flight attendant who was confirmed as patient number 1. Bainimarama says this is the 6th confirmed transmission tracing back to Fiji's first case of COVID-19.
Our newly confirmed case of coronavirus is the husband of an existing patient from Lautoka, the Zumba classmate of patient number 1. This was a case we have expected for some time. And thankfully, this 33-year-old gentleman did not develop any symptoms until after he was safely in isolation and posed no risk to the public.
Meanwhile, the Lautoka man who was found hiding from medical authorities in Kashmir with recent travel history has been cleared of the coronavirus. The Prime Minister says this now means that all restrictions in Lautoka are lifted.
Despite his irresponsible behavior, which will still be investigated, he was among the 24 tests last night that came back negative, meaning all of the Lautoka confined area now has the freedom to move into and out of that area, including the Kashmir area.
Bainimarama has reminded the nation the 8 p.m. to 5 a.m. nationwide curfew still applies everywhere, as does the ban on social gatherings and the requirement to keep a safe distance of 2 meters. Police officers have stepped up surveillance in Lautoka from today to make sure no one takes this as an opportunity to skirt any government directive. More than 830 people came into direct and casual contact with the 54-year-old man, who is Fiji's 9th confirmed case of COVID-19. Health Minister Dr. Ifiremi Wangainambete says some of these individuals, who are immediate family of the Lambasa man, have already tested positive for the virus. Dr. Wangainambete has assured Fijians that they've been able to reach all those who came into contact with the 9th case.
And if you look at the behavior of the spread of coronavirus in Fiji, it's the direct contacts that are getting the virus. We haven't had a casual contact get the virus.
Police are investigating a family on Wakaya Island who flouted quarantine directives despite repeated reminders. Police Commissioner Brigadier General Siti Veningilio confirms this is the same family which earlier breached the inter-island movement restriction travelling to Wakaya Island in a fiberglass boat. Koroi Tandulala reports.
Police have now received information that a family has disregarded instructions to confine themselves to their home, insisting on walking around the beach, putting others at risk.
They are just making matters worse for themselves, and they're becoming very irresponsible, so we've had to contact them again, and that just opens up more issues for them that we'll be dealing with at the end of their quarantine period.
Since the Lautoka lockdown has been lifted, Gilio says this will allow a one-time inter-island movement for those who wish to return home.
We will allow that one-time movement. We're coordinating with the Navy that they go back now that the blockade in lockdown in Lautoka has been lifted. And also some of the hotel workers that were out in the islands that need to get back home to Lautoka, that will be a one-time movement as well.
The police commissioner has assured that their officers are on standby to arrest those who continue to breach the restrictions and curfew in place. Koroi Tandulala, FBC News.
The Lautoka city lockdown, which was lifted today, has been welcomed by many residents and businesses. One particular resident, Timaima Kinita, finally got to her home in Natokowanga after being stuck on the Mba side for 18 days as they were not allowed to pass the checkpoint after returning from a funeral in Vanuatu. Felipe Naikasu has more.
We really miss home.
44-year-old Timaima Kinita says she is just glad to be back home following the Prime Minister's announcement that the Lautoka lockdown was going to be lifted today. During the 18 days she stayed at Nailanga village in Ba.
Help around in cooking, and the villagers, they came, the head of the Matangali came and visited us. Government too, they came and visited us. But we were just waiting for the road to open. As soon as it opened at 5, we left Mba at 5:15 this morning.
Lautoka City was also abuzz as many residents were out. Majority of them stated that they were doing grocery shopping as during the lockdown, movement was restricted.
No, this is the first time we have got like this, the case in Lautoka lockdown. We can't take the job here to the Nindi, to Ba.
Following the instructions, as I'm watching the news and the medical teams over here.
It was also noted that a number of shops remained closed in the city due to the impact of COVID-19 on the economy.
When we came here, it's no good. Very slack. 2-3 people coming only here.
The Lautoka lockdown was lifted at 5 a.m. today, but residents and businesses say they will need to adhere to the safety requirements and health precautions to ensure they're safe during this COVID-19 pandemic. Felipe Naikasu, FBC News.
Up ahead, farmers raise concerns over prices. And British Prime Minister moved to ICU. Details after the break.
Natango approsta na garse, ngor kraki, do televizio na varong na Radio Fijian, nandom ibit.
Radio Fijian, nandom.
Welcome back. The Fiji Police Force has set up 2 additional checkpoints in Lokia Rewa and Navuso in Naitasiri. This follows reports that people continue to enter lockdown areas from these 2 entry points. Sanyani Mboila visited the 2 checkpoints and files this report.
Lokia Landing resident Elisoni Nabila says despite lockdown restrictions, people are still moving around the area.
When the lockdown began, police came after 8 people who managed to go to the other side. So they put the checkpoint to avoid the movement of people in this area.
This is Lokia Landing, where an additional police checkpoint has been set up to avoid the movement of people from real villages into Lokia, which has an access road through Koronivia right up to Suva.
People from the other side will have to pass their shopping list to their relatives this side. It's good because it's for our own safety.
Police also set up a second additional checkpoint in Nabuso. This road leads up to Ngiolevu Road in Naita Siri, which is outside the lockdown area. Despite the current weather situation, police are still here at the Nabuso checkpoint, ensuring that people adhere to the lockdown restrictions in place. This was the scene at the Nosori Bridge lockdown checkpoint, where a family had to say their final goodbyes.
We respect the law that is put in place for us. This is how far we can go. We cannot do much. Our relatives will take over from the other side.
Police officers continue to man checkpoints in lockdown areas to contain COVID-19, and those found to be breaching the restrictions will be taken to task. Sainiani Mboila, FBC News.
Some farmers have raised concerns, claiming they are not getting the right value for their produce, which is being sold in different markets. These farmers who are selling their produce to the Fiji Agro Marketing Authority claim they earn more when they sell vegetables and root crops themselves at different markets. As Josiah Nanunga reports, the Agriculture Ministry has refuted these claims.
These farmers claim the money received from the sale of their produce will not be enough to sustain their families in these trying times.
We are not happy with the cost of our produce here as compared to when we sell at the market.
When we came, we were told a kilo of cassava was being bought for $1 in the morning, but in the afternoon this price dropped to 50 cents a kilo. If we sold a bag of cassava in the market, we would earn $50.
All these claims have been refuted by the Agriculture Ministry.
IMA and Ministry of Agriculture has been playing a key role and working with farmers outside the lockdown zone in supplying fresh produce and vegetables and fruits to the vendors inside the lockdown zone for consumers to buy from. IMA has been selling most of their produce and at the price that they actually buy. And the data that I've seen, the prices hasn't been distorted as much as it's been claimed.
Those in the market supply chain have been urged to stop hiking up prices of their produce. To date, government has not regulated any vegetable or root crop prices in local markets. Hence, the onus remains within the supply chain to consider the consequences of marking up prices in their respective businesses. Josiah Nanunga, FBC News.
In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, Fiji and the rest of the world is facing a devastating impact on the economy. Sole proprietors in Fiji are not spared from the economic challenges as they struggle to make ends meet. Talei Mataida Kula with the story.
4 years in the wheelbarrow business, 29-year-old Mateyasi Savo says they've been hit hard with the economical impacts of the pandemic.
The curfews and lockdown restrictions that has been placed due to the virus has really affected our business. Before we could earn up to $100 a day, but now if we are lucky enough, we can only take home $15 to $20 a day.
Facing similar challenges, people selling food in stalls at the market say business is just not the same.
Business on normal days, around midday almost all our pies and puddings will be sold, but now with COVID-19 pandemic, we barely have customers to buy from us.
We had to cut down the number of food packs we make. Before, we can make around 200 parcels and earn about $400 in a week. But now we are only packing 50 parcels, earning around $100 to $200, depending on the number of customers.
Juice vendors are echoing the same sentiments, but feel they are faced with two problems: the pandemic and cold weather.
In cold weather conditions, we can only earn about $70 to $80, but now because of the curfew and lockdown, business has been really slack, and whatever little money we get, we use it to cater for the needs of our family.
Working to put food on the table, these sole proprietors are hoping the pandemic will soon end and for their business to return to normal. Dalima Terkula, FBC News.
Turning overseas, British Prime Minister Boris Johnson is now in intensive care 11 days after being diagnosed with COVID-19. Foreign Secretary Dominic Raab has been asked to step in where necessary. There is finally a sign of hope in Spain, where the death rate for COVID-19 fell for the 4th day in a row. However, in Italy, it jumped by more than 100, making authorities nervous about an ease in lockdown restrictions. Up next, it's Whitney Rounds with Business.
In business, Butcher left counting losses. And employers under FNPF spotlight. Stay with us.
My name is Neha and I'm from Kadavi. And Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Mirchi FM, it's hot.
Local meat suppliers are in uncharted waters with the coronavirus pandemic, as there are many unknowns about the timing and the aftermath of the disease. COVID-19 is having a negative impact on many businesses, which includes Tembara Prime Cuts, one of Fiji's major meat suppliers to hotels. Sales have dropped to 95% due to COVID-19. Kritika Kumar reports.
Tembara Prime Cuts claims their sales have gone down by $1 million. This as the hotel industry is experiencing a business downturn, and the majority of the products from Tembara Prime Cuts were being supplied to the hotels.
Currently, our industry has been affected with, we could say, about 95% of our business loss due to the current coronavirus.
Shabid Ali says they have enough stock available to cater for the next 4 months. Ali says the imports have not been affected as they had done pre-bookings with Australia and New Zealand.
Pre-bookings with them, and what our suppliers has given us, they have given us the confirmations on the orders, and our the vessels, I mean, they've been also confirmed for the loading, so I don't think so there's any problem with the pre-orders.
Meanwhile, the hoteliers around the country are mindful and have rolled out their cost reduction plan.
It used to be on a monthly basis, then it went to a weekly, now it's on a daily basis. What can I do today to reduce my costs?
The Tembara Prime Cuts is now concentrating on its retail shops and has not laid off any workers. Kritika Kumar, FBC News.
The government says it will overlook a lack of Fiji National Provident Fund contributions from employers for the time being. Economy Minister Aya Saidkum says they suspect some employers are behind their contributions, hence not issuing letters to employees wanting to access FNPF assistance. Kelly Vazala reports.
The Fiji National Provident Fund says they will go ahead and list down all employees affected by COVID-19.
That FNPF is going to ignore that for the time being. We simply want the employees to get those letters. But we've gone one step ahead, and we're talking to FNPF to say we can now get the employees directly being listed in that list of employers who should be getting the or passing on the benefits to the employees.
Cyclone adds they've received complaints from Fijians regarding FNPF contributions.
I received a phone call from a lady this morning who's been working in a restaurant, and but she's never been registered as an employee. So it's not, she's never been registered as an employee, so it's not like cash under the table. So now when she does not have that work, now the employer won't give her the letter saying, well, you were kind of illegally engaged.
The minister says such situations reveal those doing things illegally as they get caught out, particularly during this time. Fijians not directly funded through the employment benefit scheme will now be able to withdraw up to $1,000 from the FNPF account beginning Thursday. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
Time for Gary to join us now with the latest from the money markets.
The US dollar held on to gains against safe haven currencies as tentative signs that deaths due to the coronavirus in hotspots in the US and Europe were starting to slow supported risk sentiment. The pound sterling edged lower against the US dollar and euro after British Prime Minister Boris Johnson was moved to intensive care after his coronavirus symptoms worsened. The Japanese yen held steady against major currencies after Prime Minister Shinzo Abe unveiled fiscal stimulus worth almost $1 trillion and agreed to declare the state of emergency for Tokyo and other parts of Japan to slow the virus infections. Closer to home, New Zealand business confidence fell sharply as 70% of firms surveyed expected the coronavirus outbreak to reduce demand for their products and impact broader economic activity. The survey closed prior to the New Zealand government announcing the nationwide lockdown on March 20th. Meanwhile, there was an overall decline in Australia's trade balance to $4.36 billion as a result of declines in exports and imports by 4% and 5% respectively. And that's all from HFC Bank, Vinaka.
Here, today's exchange rates are set this morning. The Fiji dollar had a good day. It gained against the Chinese yuan, the US dollar, the euro, and the Japanese yen. It fell against the others. Onto the commodities market, all three gained today. Gold closing at $1,659 per ounce. Silver was at $15.16 per ounce, while crude oil prices stood at $27.11 per barrel. That's it from Business Tonight. Jamie joins you now with the latest from sports.
Thanks, Whitney, and good evening. In sports tonight, no more matches for Fijian Latui this year, and athletes urged to stay focused. This and more coming up.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
The Fijian Latui will play no further part in this year's Global Rapid Rugby after the competition was cancelled today. The Fijian Latui lost to China Lions 29-22 in the opening round of GRR at the NZ Stadium 3 weeks ago before the competition was initially suspended. Rapid Rugby CEO Mark Evans says the long-term travel restrictions in place as part of the worldwide fight against COVID-19 provided the Asia-Pacific competition no choice. He says all their decisions have been based on expert health advice. There are global realities and challenges that cannot and should not be ignored or worked around. Evans adds in the current circumstances, they feel that their hand has been forced to upgrade their previous season 1 suspension to a complete cancellation. Team Fiji athletes are being urged to adjust themselves in the current situation so they don't lose sight of their Olympic targets. Fasanok Chief Executive Lorraine Ma is optimistic our athletes will rise above the challenges and stay focused even with the restrictions in place. Aquila Dama has the details.
Most of our Team Fiji athletes are not able to access their training facilities due to the restrictions in place, but that should not be an excuse.
But I think it's important for them to know that they're not alone. You know, they have around them people who can help, and we'll definitely be reaching out to them.
Even though the new dates for the Tokyo Olympics have been confirmed, but when will athletes get back to full training is unclear at the moment.
We don't know how long we're going to be in this kind of environment where we actually, at the mercy of this pandemic.
But there is a positive impact for some athletes amidst all that's happening regarding COVID-19.
We are still working towards next year rather than this year. So in that respect, it gives them more time to prepare well.
The Tokyo Olympic Games will be held on July 23rd to August 8th next year. Aquila Dama, FBC Sports.
Fijian football star Roy Krishna cannot wait to return to his hometown Lambasa once the COVID-19 restrictions are lifted and it's safe to do so. The former All Saints secondary school student arrived into the country about 2 weeks ago with his wife Nazia Ali. Krishna returned from India after a successful season with the ATK Football Club. Krishna says he's happy to be back in Fiji and is looking forward to seeing his family.
Yeah, looking forward to go to Lambasa to meet my parents, my grandmother, all my friends, just hanging out with them, going to the town, and also eat fish parcel in the market.
Fiji football has confirmed that they will be able to sustain themselves to the end of the year with the funds they have from World Football governing body FIFA and the Oceania Football Confederation. However, Fiji FA Chief Executive Mohammed Yusuf says they will be looking at possible pay reductions and layoffs to be able to keep the association afloat to the end of the year.
Yeah, with whatever funds there has been confirmed to come our way from FIFA and Oceania Football. Locally, we don't see anything apart from the government paying the coach's salary.
Now, Play of the Day, we are back with rugby commentator Nick Heath and his commentary on everyday life activities. This time he's calling a motorsport racing and an unusually titled event.
Well, you join me live. It's motorsport time and the Who's Got the Smallest One semi-final. Plenty of contenders here. Harry Phillips in the Hyundai trying to get home to catch the news. The Vauxhall, the cyclist and a scooter. Such a diverse range of entrants and they're away. It's all go. It's a brilliant bit of work from Harry Phillips on the near side, nearly colliding with traffic coming towards him in an audaciously selfish move. He's definitely got the smallest one. He can sleep easy tonight on his own again.
That's it from Sports Tonight. Coming up in the world of the weird and wonderful, artist pays tribute to COVID-19 frontline workers. This and more after the break.
Bula, I'm Miri, I'm from Lotoka and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Tropical cyclone Harold was located about 680 kilometers west of Nandi, or about 800 kilometers west-northwest of Kandavu at 12 p.m. today. Close to its center, the cyclone is estimated to have average winds up to 195 kilometers per hour, with momentary gusts to 275 kilometers per hour. The cyclone is currently moving east-southeast at about 20 kilometers per hour. Looking west, partly sunny with some light showers late in the afternoon. Eastward from Pacific Harbour to Suva, mostly cloudy with scattered showers at intervals. Up north, bit of rain and humid conditions, otherwise cloudy. At sea, moderate easterly winds, moderate seas. Turning to the tides, the next low tide is at 12:11 a.m. with high tide at 6:26 a.m. Sunrise is at 6:14 a.m. The cyclone center is expected to be located about 350 kilometers west of Nandi, or about 450 kilometers west-northwest of Kandavu at 3 a.m. tomorrow, and about 150 kilometers south of Nandi, or about 70 kilometers west of Kandavu at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The further outlook for Thursday, a passing morning shower, then intervals of clouds and sunshine in the afternoon with increased humidity. In Fijian Pulse tonight, we ask, what have you been doing to entertain yourself in this COVID-19 situation?
With me personally, with myself, I keep up with my daily Bible readings. I love that. By 11 o'clock we have our Bible sharing with my children.
Reading magazines a lot and going through my Bible every day.
Awesome,
thank you so much. Next thing is I pray for every Fijian to be safe.
For us at home, we are basically glued to our TV screen and the kids keep themselves entertained by playing cards.
At this time, we're just staying home, watching movies day in, day out, and just to pass time with my brothers and sisters.
Recapping our main stories, TC Herald heading our way. One more tests positive for COVID-19, and people continue to disappoint authorities. For these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station, Gold FM, to our poll question segment. This week we are asking, should anyone found breaching COVID-19 isolation restrictions be charged? Visit our FBC News website to answer. And our shot of the day, this was taken by Nigel Spencer Robinson. It's a snapshot of our very own famous Nabucolo Creek in the heart of the capital city. Send us newsworthy pictures and videos. Email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via our FBC News Facebook and Twitter accounts. Remember, in times of crisis, you need factual news that you can trust. Stop believing fake news about COVID-19 on social media. Fight misinformation by getting only the facts about coronavirus from verified news sources like FBC's TV, radio and digital media news. www.fbcnews.com.fj, keeping Fijians connected with the truth.
I'm Miri. I'm from Lotoka, and I love Gold FM because they play all my classic hits.
Gold FM, only the classic hits.